All. Welcome to the DevOps Planet. In today's video, we are going to see how we can install and configure Kubernetes on our local system. So for that, we are going to use Minikube, that is a local Kubernetes tool. So now let's start with the process. So for that, go on the browser and type in the search bar install Minikube. So you will see the first link here, that is the official documentation from the Minikube itself. Now let's click on this. Now here you can see it is mentioned that all you need is a Docker or similar compatibly container environment, or it could be a virtual machine environment. So this is a prerequisite to install the Minikube. So now let's go to my VM. So I have already installed Docker on my virtual machines. If you don't know how to do that, I will share the link of my other video where I have shown how we can install the Docker. So you can find that link in the description on this video and you can install Docker. So let me see whether Docker is running on my system or not. So for that the command is sudo ccm status docker. Okay, is the command. Okay, so Docker is active, is running. So the prerequisite to install the Minikube is satisfied on my machine. Now here you can select the operating system based on which operating system you are going to install the Kubernetes. So I have Linux machine with me, and you can select the installation type. It is binary, Debian, or RPM. So I am going to use the Debian here. So all you just need to do is copy these two commands and execute them on your machine. So it will download this file. So let it complete. It will take few minutes. So this is completed. Now let's execute the another command. Now it is setting up Minikube, so which is also done. Now scroll down here, you will find the second step, that is start your cluster. So this is the command which I need to execute, and it will start Kubernetes cluster on my local system. So let's copy this command, and I also need to use sudo here. So sudo Minikube start. So now it will set up the Kubernetes cluster on my local system. Okay, so it is giving some error because of the Docker driver. So on my system, the Docker is installed with the root. So for that, I have to use hyphen force. So let me try it again. So now the installation process has been started. It will take few minutes to complete the installation process. So let it completed. It will take some time. So now you can see the cluster has been set up. So now let's proceed with our next steps. So next is the interact with our Kubernetes cluster. So for that, we need a tool that is kubectl. So if you already have kubectl installed on your system, you can skip these steps. In my case, I'm going to follow this documentation. So simply open this link. Here, you need to select the steps for which OS you want to install it. So I'm using Linux. Now, all you have to do is execute these commands in one by one. So first command is it will download the latest release that will require to install the kubectl. After this, the second command is validate the binary. For that, we will download the checksum file. So let this one completed. It's about to be done. Okay, now let's execute this command. So this is also done. Now let's verify the output should be okay. Okay, so it looks good. Now third is to install the kubectl command. So the kubectl command has been installed, and you can check the version using kubectl version. So the kubectl has been installed successfully. Now let's move back to our steps and we can interact with our cluster. So for that, we can execute the command kubectl get ports -a. So in our next videos, we will see all these commands in the detail. So here I'm giving you the idea how you can see the details of your Kubernetes cluster. So these are all the Kubernetes ports that are running. And if you want to see that how many namespaces are there, so you can pass kubectl get ns, it will list you the namespace. And if you want to see how many nodes are there, so the command is sudo kubectl get nodes. Currently one node is configured, that is via minikube itself. So that is how you can visualize the things in your Kubernetes cluster. There is another way that I want to share is using Kubernetes dashboard. So all these things can be visualized from a GUI mode or from your browser, that is using Kubernetes dashboard. So in the documentation itself, you see they have shared one command. So this command will enable or create the Kubernetes dashboard so that you can monitor or you can visualize your Kubernetes cluster. So let me execute this command sudo minikube dashboard. So now this will install the required resources. It will create the ports, respective namespace services that is required via Kubernetes dashboard. Okay, so it is installing, and also you can see it has given you one message that some features of the dashboard are disabled because for that we need to enable some add-on, that is metric server. So let this one completed and then we will enable these add-ons. Now you can see it has set up the dashboard and it also written one URL. But before going to the dashboard, let me enable this add-on also in a new tab. I'm using this command. So it will enable the metrics server add-ons for me. Okay, so add-on is enabled. So let me execute this command one more time. So one more feature which I want to share is -- port 8080. So if I execute this command without this flag, so what will happen? It will launch the port, but on a random port number. So you see it pick up a random port number and it share the URL. But if I want to launch this on a particular port, for that I can use -- port and I can pass the port number. So this time you will see it will return the URL, but with our port 8080. Now let me copy this URL, open it on the browser. Okay, so now I am on my default namespace. Now let me select the all namespaces. So you can see, I can see all the detail of my cluster, that how many ports are running, how many deployments are there in our all the namespaces. You can also select any specific resource. For example, you click on the ports, you will see how many ports we can see here. So you can also see the RAM, CPU, and it will show you the total CPU utilization and memory also. It is waiting because I just enable the add-on. So if you want to select any particular resource, so you can select any particular namespace, and if you want to see the detailed information of a port, you can click on the port number. So it will give you the metadata like the namespace, the name of the port, the IP of the port, when it was launched, from how long it is running, and other details. So that is how you can visualize your Kubernetes resources in your GUI mode. So the same thing can be seen on a CLI mode also. So now you can see it is also giving us the CPU users and memory users with via our cluster. And if you want to see that how many utilization is there for a particular namespace, so you can select the namespace. It will show you the data here also. Let's wait, it is loading. Meanwhile, let me go to the ports. It is still loading. We select all the namespaces. It's loading. Okay, so we can also see the utilization respect to a particular port, that this port is using this much CPU and this much memory. The same we can see on the graph also. Yeah, like this. So you can see as I select the Kubernetes dashboard namespace, the graphs has been updated. So this is the total CPU and memory used within a namespace. And the same you can achieve via clicking on all namespace, that how many CPU and memory used by my all the resources in all our namespaces. So in our next videos, we will see all these resources in the details, how to create the port, how to create the namespace, ingress, controllers, replica sets, deployments, etc. I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching this.